TikTok is on its last days.
Unbelievable.
Now, federally, it has been voted through no TikTok on government phones. I feel like more and more bipartisan support is understanding and coming around this issue. It's going to be a sad day for me. I love TikTok. It's how I felt when I smoked cigarettes. I remember one time you and Haley came to me and you said, look, we love you. Everything's great, but the cigarettes got to go. And it was like, man, but I love these cigarettes, but I know you're right. And that's exactly how I feel about TikTok.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey guys, welcome to group chat. We have a small group today. It's just Dee and I. But
the hat is gone.
You know what? You guys spoke and we listened. The dude in the Laker hat is out.
Yeah.
The snow melted. No more snowflakes here.
This is a conservative talk show now.
This is now a conservative right-wing podcast. Oh man, it's one of my favorite moments. Go. What are you gonna say?
I was like, only the views of the right. You can't go wrong when you are right.
All of our views. That could be our slogan. Every now and then we get like a moment, on group chat, and we got one with this Anand thing, and it's great. And we're big on TikTok. May not matter soon. We'll tell you why. But the video of Anand, I know you guys talked about it. Big on TikTok. We have a lot to talk about today. TikTok is one of those things. Also, CPI numbers came out. The Fed made their reaction. The stock market made its reaction. We're going to talk about all that stuff, as well as some stuff about Netflix. We're going to end with live events. And we have a really interesting conversation about, a venue that did a lot of business in live events, and the biggest in the world, right?
Yep.
Biggest in the world. And then, we get into a little bit about live events. And Dee is going to finish. You guys know Dee's traveled a lot. He's been to a lot of events. He is going to finish by telling us which event of all the ones he's been to is actually what it seems in pictures on Instagram, is actually as good as it seems.
Yeah.
So, hot episode and maybe a little travel tip. You ready, Dee?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, Dee.
Hey.
Welcome to group chat.
Welcome back.
Okay, what do we got to talk about? So I'm bummed I missed the Anand recap. Our boy Anand just got roasted on TikTok.
Liberal snowflake pussy.
The old liberal snowflake Anand. I mean, who would have thought? I feel like the tides are really changing. I don't want to say that they're changing to like full conservative, because I don't think that's necessarily accurate, but I feel like the liberal snowflake language that was a mainstream success for so long is coming to an end.
Yeah, that's what I said on the last episode was, 4 years ago, it was very cool to be extremely liberal.
Yeah.
Like falling off the left, right? Yep. Borderline socialist.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think it's cool to be like center to the right.
Yeah, which is really interesting. I don't really feel like that Anand moment was kind of a moment for me where I was like, oh shit, like it's not like a couple people.
It's everybody.
It's everybody. And he wasn't even like, to keep it real for Anand, like what he was saying wasn't like crazy snowflakey, but it was a little anti-Elon and it was whatever. But I don't know. I guess if you would have asked me, I would have thought like maybe there's a couple, diss comments, but man, it was the whole thing. The tides have changed. Snowflake.
Yeah. And I think it's not surprising for older people. Like I saw like the shift amongst a lot of my friends that kind of started leaning more conservative. And I think it really came around crime was the tipping point for most of my friends. Yeah. For young people, crime doesn't affect them, right? Like they don't think about it, right? They're not thinking about like, oh, should I drive down this street or not? They just do whatever they want.
Yeah. Especially in most cities, like I feel like crime is up in most cities. Like I've heard about it in Nashville, for instance. Like it's not just LA, New York, San Francisco, but like, I feel like there's a large portion of young people that don't, that just doesn't hit their radar.
Yeah. So my only reasoning why I think young people are leaning towards being more conservative, it has to be around cancel culture. And I don't think I don't think it's fair that for young people today in this like digital age where everything they're doing is being recorded will be potentially life ruining 25 years from now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reality is that times evolve, people's views evolve, and what could be allowed to be said today may look crazy 20 years from now, but the context is so different. The time is so different. Society will be different. So it's the same thing. Like if there was a video of everything I said when I was 13, I'm out.
Yeah, you're out of here.
I'm out.
Yep. You're out. You're doing a Patreon.
Yeah. Like,
hey guys. Hey, it's me, Dee.
By the way, everyone I know at 13 is out.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone's out. There's no media.
There's no media.
I also think like if you look at it like, because it's always hard to see like where it's come or how it's changed. And like, even like a year or two ago, like nobody dared even challenging that narrative.
Yeah.
And so no one really like, I don't know, everyone was just kind of like in fear of even questioning it, where now I feel like you have people like Elon being very bold. You have a lot of comedians, Andrew Schultz is very outspoken about it. You have a lot of people like openly questioning it or critiquing it. And I feel like, that the conversation is just changing. I think there were a lot of people that thought like, this is going too far, but you can't say it. I mean, there were a lot of times on this podcast where I think we all probably felt like, oh, I don't know, we should check. Maybe we should take that out. Maybe that was over the line. Maybe, and like, that's just us. We don't answer to like a network or anything like that, but it was like scary to even say anything. I feel like that's kind of changing and young people are like, yeah, fuck that.
And I think here's the reality is like, specifically in America with free speech, like, we all know you could say anything you want. Obviously, there's consequences for your actions. But ultimately, like, we have to walk on pins and needles. By accidentally, we may say something that historically was kind of culturally okay.
Yeah.
That you can't say now. But if it slips out just because of whatever, you may be in a very tough spot. And like, I see that. I mean, we live in a little different world because we're around young people. And specifically me, I'm older, but I'm around a lot of young people. So I've self-corrected pretty, slowly over the last, call it 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm with a lot of older people all the time. They're not correcting.
Yeah. That's true. You're right.
They are speaking how they speak with, they, in their eyes, they're way more conservative in the way they speak than they did 10 years ago. But if they were out in a normal public setting, it would be completely like I'm with much older people in our industry who are 20 years older than me all the time. And I'm always waiting for them to like slip up and be like, fuck, what are you doing?
It's so true. I also feel like recording a podcast is like a good exercise to check how you're speaking, Yeah. Like, you're not doing that. If you're just talking to your other friends and you're not around young people, you're like, fuck it.
Just say whatever you want.
It's normal,
like I had dinner with some guys in New York not too long ago that are like my age. And it's because they're in a little bubble. They're in this little industry and they're just like packed in the corner of Brooklyn. Like they're just, the way they talk, I was just like, I mean, it sounded normal
like a time
to me.
Capsule.
Yeah. But it's just like in their community, it doesn't matter. Like that's just how they talk. And I think that's what young people found. If I was a young person, that's what would make me more conservative. is the cancel culture of things.
Yeah.
But socially, I think the country has gotten way more liberal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know people want to highlight some of the scarier things that have happened over the last couple of years, but I think, you know, and you see it in the election, like most people who are centrist are the ones that popular votes are attracting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think the actual like data seems to be going in the right direction. Like all the far right language didn't really work in the election.
Yeah.
All the cancel culture stuff people seem to be getting over. You know, it seems like liberal in the right places, conservative in certain places. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you weren't on social media or watched mainstream news, which I don't know then how you get any information, but the point is you just looked at the data. It's pretty center, it feels like to me.
Yeah, I mean,
people are rebelling against extremes or are pushing away from extremes.
Like, I would love to meet a person that does not have a phone or TV and say, give them 10 topics and be like, all right.
Yeah.
These are 10 things the world is dealing with. What's your view on them?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting.
You know, and obviously there's no one like that, but like, I'm sure that you would find that people are probably genuinely, you know, down the middle.
I think people are getting sick of the bullshit. Like it feels to me, maybe I'm totally wrong here and I'm going to look back at this and be like, ha, you wish. But like, it seems like the extreme language from the right and the left that was so popular the last few years is looking silly.
Yeah, it's exhausting. If you're like a right-wing person, it's exhausting arguing your points all day. If you're completely like a socialist, it's exhausting arguing your points all day. Because in your view, on both sides, everyone else is in the wrong.
Yeah. And the change that's needed is so radical.
Yeah, it's like you're not even on the same planet. Oh,
education should be a little better. It's like we need, like, I'm going to get up every morning and battle with everyone I see about why the entire system is broken. All right.
Yeah.
You're going to be exhausted.
Yeah. And I think there's a cohort of people in America that have basically alienated themselves because this is how they think. And they just think, like, I think they go about the world thinking everyone is against them on both sides. I literally think there's call it 40, 50, 60 million people like this that just wake up and be like, I have to go to war.
Yeah. And the problem is you can find just enough of, even if everyone in your real life is sick of you, you can find enough of a little bubble online that can maintain that. And you know, some people will just be that way for the rest of their lives. Some people are going to like wake up from this in like a few years and be like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like, I don't know. We all have pursued things, mainly when we were younger, that we're like, man, what was I doing? Like I wasted a whole year, you know, being a fucking, I don't know, a photographer or something. And like, it's like that, but like times 100, you know, like, I just think there's certain people that will wake up and be like, man, that wasn't it. That wasn't a good use of my time. I didn't understand people. I didn't talk to anyone.
It's addiction like anything else. Like, I think it's like if you talk to a alcohol addict and then 5 years later they're sober and they're looking back like, damn, I was fucking messed up.
The problem is the alcohol addict at the end of the day knows alcohol is bad and knows, you know, whatever. This person can trick themselves into thinking they're doing the right thing. Either on the right, you know, I'm saving the country.
America,
I'm making America great again. Or, you know, on the left, I'm changing the system. I'm getting rid of these systemic problems. Like when really you're not actually affecting anything.
Yeah.
You're just, you know, really upset and whatever, but you're not affecting any change. But you can lie to yourself and be like, no, I'm more virtuous than you. You guys are too lazy. You guys don't care about problems.
Yeah, and that's how they go to sleep feeling good about themselves because they're like, they're addressing the problem. You are not. And I think the to me, I think is a really tough way to live is you're driven by politics. Like if that's your profession, that's different. Cool. Yeah. Like I get it. But like if politics is what energizes you, dude, That's
Yeah, it's
fucking
tough.
scary.
Especially if you're just a regular person.
Yeah, like especially if nothing to like financially gain from it. It's like,
Yeah.
what is I don't like, people who are just naturally like, I used to be super interested in politics and now I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
literally
same.
do not care what these people have to say, do. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. You know what I noticed about myself, and this kind of goes to like how you can go down this rabbit hole really far, is like if I pay attention to politics too much, my natural instinct is to start like thinking of like solutions, like, oh, it's so fucked up that this happens. And like you find yourself having done a whole day's work, like the same amount of brain power it takes me to, run a business or do what I do. But I'm running these fake scenarios in my head of like how we could change the system. And then like not one piece of it is actionable. No. So I just got pissed off and like tried to problem solve and like, okay, we're going to do this. And like, there's nothing actionable from that. I can't do anything tomorrow. I just piss myself off and stress myself out, like pretending, playing make believe,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know. I mean, I think even the way people's reaction to on TikTok is also extreme to me, that like, who cares? Some guy on TikTok with the big hat is just
the Laker hat. Dude in the Laker hat is what everyone called him.
Yeah, dude in the Laker hat. I mean, like, even that like level of anger like seems a little too much. Yeah. Like I see stuff all the time where I'm just like upset about it, but to publicly say something,
I know.
I think
to like hit that little comment button, type out your message, maintain your angry energy. I mean, that takes so much pointless fucking energy. It's just wild. Dude in the Laker hat. I mean,
clown emoji, dude in Laker hat.
But we did I will say this actually genuinely made me happy. Like, I think we do this podcast for fun. I think we're all, pleasantly surprised by the reaction in all honesty, but we do it for fun. It came out of an idea of fun and whatever. And, but there was a lot of like feedback and reactions, and people wrote me, and I saw we reposted some on the Twitter of like people just saying like, thank you. That was a great conversation. And the fact that you guys could be on opposite sides and still get along, and the fact that it was blah, blah, blah. Like when I said that stuff, to be honest with you, I was worried. I meant to tell the team, don't post that on TikTok. I just forgot, because I was worried that by like kind of supporting Elon and not, the left on Twitter, I thought I was going to get ripped to shreds. But we got a lot of really good feedback about our ability to have that conversation.
Little did you know you could be the Republican congressman from Ohio.
Oh my God. What you wanted me to do 4 years ago, which was go full MAGA, now might be the time. The market is primed and ready.
I know, because now it's socially acceptable. You're cool.
Oh my gosh. It's why I would have said don't post that on TikTok, because I would have thought, even by insinuating that the left was wrong for shadow banning overwhelmingly conservatives, I thought I was going to get destroyed. And it was Anand who got destroyed. Oh my God.
It's crazy how quickly the tide changes.
I know. Well, here's the good news, especially for Anand. Pretty soon, none of this is going to matter, because TikTok is on its last days.
Unbelievable.
I mean, they banned it. Like, there's certain states that banned TikTok. This is over the last like few months or whatever. Certain
on government phones.
Yes, have banned TikTok on government phones, but state, it's a state issue. Now, federally, it has been voted through, no TikTok on government phones, banned. To me, this just feels like the precursor. I feel like more and more bipartisan support is understanding and coming around this issue. And I mean, it's going to be a sad day for me. I love TikTok, but I do think it needs to go. It's how I felt when I smoked cigarettes. I remember one time you and Haley came to me and you said, look, we love you, everything's great, but the cigarettes got to go. And it was like, man, but I love these cigarettes, but I know you're right. And that's exactly how I feel about TikTok.
So what's interesting is that TikTok is claiming that they've been having conversations with the United States government, and this doesn't make sense, this ban, from a national security standpoint. that they've been having conversations on how to make the government feel more comfortable with the user data, this, that. The other issue is, I like that they moved, on this fairly quickly. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation. I don't know how you enforce it, so I'm curious to see how that gets done. Yeah. Second, maybe because they know the devices, they can just block the IP. Who knows? And then, if they ban it in the United States, similar to when you ban things in China or in India, all the users end up on VPNs and still access the apps.
But the question is, can you take enough of the life out of it where like all of a sudden the content gets a lot worse, the amount of people posting, like can you cause this chain reaction network effect that kills it?
Yeah, so that I do think is possible. So if TikTok was on a VPN, I'm not an avid user. It would go even way down. Like, I don't care that much. Like, I'm not gonna.
Oh, if you're using a VPN to get on TikTok, you need to go to rehab. Well, like that's the sign. It's gone too far. You're fucking.
I guarantee you, Javier is gonna VPN his dick off
for sure.
He's gonna have like 17. He's gonna spend $200 a month on VPNs just to get TikTok.
I'm not kidding. You could do a commercial. You could open one of those rehabs you've been wanting to do. At first it was Jewel, then it's evolved. And you do a commercial that says, "Have you caught your child using a VPN to log into TikTok?
Yeah,
give us a call."
Because
that's the sign. That's how you know it went too far.
And VPNs are like on average $10 a month. Like, so basically you're going to pay $10 a month to use Twitter. VPN business is about to explode.
Yeah.
That'd be
a good investment if this happens.
Yeah.
Because it's the hot thing on video games, like I realized this, or I learned this recently, like video gamers use VPNs because when you're playing against a bunch of other people, and you can like VPN to like, I don't know, less developed countries, you could say. And like the competition isn't as good. And so like gamers will like get a VPN so that the people they're playing aren't as good.
That's like, I'm really good at basketball, but I live in LA.
Exactly.
So when I go to the gym, there's NBA players. I'm going to go to India and play basketball.
Exactly. It's literally that. That's what they do. So, I mean, the VPN thing is not new to this world. Yeah,
look, I think people use it. But yeah, if it becomes like United States government says it's federally illegal to advertise on TikTok, that's how you crush it.
Yeah.
I actually think that's how you crush it even quicker.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, you're right.
Just say American companies cannot advertise on spyware.
Yeah. You're right. No influencers.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
You kill the financial ability of that company.
If you had to guess, what do you think the likelihood is that it's gone? I mean, let's be generous. Let's say in the next 2 years. Is it banned?
The only reason why I don't think it's banned, I think it gets spun off. I think it gets bought.
It's just too valuable.
Yeah. I think like, it's like, we should ban cigarettes, but people love them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
the point is there's too much money to be made.
And we haven't banned guns.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, be careful. That opinion's not popular anymore.
No. Don't put that on TikTok.
Yeah. You're right. I think there's too much money to be made is the problem. Like, I think both China and plenty of people in America would ultimately rather truly spin it out of the Chinese control and make money from it than kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, I mean, it's a big move. It's about as big of a move as we're capable of doing other than banning it. So curious what happens. And you're right. I don't even know how they control this. I don't know the technical side of that, but I mean, do people just have a second phone with their TikTok and stuff on it? I don't know.
Oh, the government employees?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Does every government employee get a phone issued to them?
I don't think so. Everyone. And like, what about your kid's iPad? Like, how do they control that?
Yeah, I think it's just government issued phones. That's why I don't think this ban is all too that significant. Like, it's not a big deal. It'll be more of like, Yeah, like maybe the FBI gets a phone issued.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, if you're in the FBI, you're sitting on TikTok all day.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be. I mean, we've heard some stories of, I guess that was Secret Service, doing some crazy shit.
Oh,
TikTok's child's play.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll see. But it was, it's a big move. And there's, like I said, it seems like there's growing bipartisan awareness that this is a problem.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay. All right. Here we are we said earlier this week, or we said on Sunday, it was going to be a big week. The CPI print was coming, as well as the Fed meeting. Both happened. I think we nailed the CPI pretty much exactly. It was 7.1.
Yeah.
We pretty much nailed that. And then the Fed responded by raising 0.5 of a percentage point. Market got smacked. I mean, not terribly, but once again, I'm sick of hearing how everything's priced in. I mean, that was great CPI info, really, all things considered.
Yeah.
0.5% of a basis point, I don't think, or a percentage point, I don't think that's too unexpected, but
yeah, I think, when you heard Jerome Powell talk, he can't say the words, I want us to be in a recession.
Yeah.
But he does, because he thinks that's the only way inflation actually comes down. And what you see, all these Bill Ackman and, all the big kind of huge financial figures, they're in the market saying the Fed is going to destroy the economy. They're going to destroy the economy. We can have a soft landing. They don't believe that's possible. That's why this is happening. They don't believe a soft landing is possible. They think it's going to be a hard landing, but they're not allowed to say that. They're not allowed to say to the market, no, we're going to crash this thing, correct there, and then we'll rebuild and we'll figure out what to do next. But I don't think anything that, On was oh, they're going to cut interest rates next year. I'm like, no fucking way. No chance. I don't think they are. There's no reason to, because you're still 7% inflation. It's just too high. This thing has to come down. They want it to be 2%. We're not even close.
Yeah, I think our only hope is leading up to the election, right?
Yeah.
It seems like the only incentive is a re-election incentive. I just don't think they even know how. I don't think they even have the tools to do it. And if they're saying essentially we need a hard landing, that's what they're going to do. That's coming out of the mouth of the person doing it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It just feels to me do they even know how? Yeah, maybe you could engineer a soft landing. Maybe. I don't know. But are they the ones that even know how to do that? Instead, why don't we just crash this thing and then slowly build it back up from there?
Yeah, to me, I'm not an economist, but my macro view is the only way you get a soft landing is labor market stays strong and the consumer just decides to stop spending money.
Yeah, which there's no way.
We can't help ourselves.
Yeah, there's no chance. I mean, we gave out relief for a disaster, and NFTs of fucking bulls doing backflips went up. You're telling me okay guys, got it, we got a little ahead of ourselves, we'll chill, we promise.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the only way to me that you see a situation where okay, next year is a mild recession and then we're ripping again in a year or two. But the reality is we can't help ourselves. We're not going to save money. We're going to spend it all.
Hell yeah.
And so if that's the case, then the only way you can actually affect people's behavior is mass layoffs. And unemployment has to go up. Right now, employment is still all-time high in terms of, people. If you want work, you can get work.
Yeah.
The only layoffs have affected the technology industry, which is a drop in the bucket, doesn't represent the country. Yeah. And so, I mean, I just don't see a world where, I don't know, who's going to have the first mass layoffs. I haven't seen anyone. Low-paying jobs, there's no way anyone who has low-paying salaried workers is laying anybody off.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, we see tech it happening. We saw Washington Post started doing it, but yeah, nothing, not on that level, I don't think. And retail sales are up. I mean, Jerome's got to be pissed. Jerome's got to be over there like, what the fuck is it going to take?
Yeah, I mean, November retail sales were up 4.5%.
I mean, that's just wild.
You can't fuck with the American consumer.
No.
They love it.
Because also, like, I feel like, I, once again, way out of my league here, but I've seen a lot about credit, usage, debt going way up for personal debt. And so even if people are just like, even if people are out of money or pretty close to it, like now we're in the phase of everyone running up their credit cards.
Yeah. And it's really interesting, like where like the money is going. Electronics was down 6%. Home goods was down 3.3%. Apparel was up 1.7%.
Oh my God.
That's unbelievable.
Is that just winter shopping though, you think?
Yeah, I mean, Black Friday.
You got to sacrifice the TV for the winter clothes?
I guess. I mean, I bought, I mean, obviously we live in LA, but like my winter jacket, I have 2, maybe 3, and they'll last me probably the rest of my life.
Yeah, me too. I hate buying jackets.
Yeah, I mean, like I bought 2 nice jackets 4 years ago, and I'll probably ride it out through my 50s.
Yeah, totally agree. But we are spoiled. I mean, we're literally like our outfit stays exactly the same plus a jacket for 6 weeks.
So credit card balances in the third quarter rose by 15%.
Okay.
So if you divide that evenly, that's 5% a month. Let's just say, just do very non-sophisticated math.
Yep.
Retail sales are up by 5%. So it's just credit card.
Okay. I feel like that could be it. Like we could be like the final leg is that part,
Like how much you got left on that credit card, honey? You got 8,000?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, it's 0. You got 2 weeks. December
I mean, that
31st.
has to be the simple indicator of like, are we close to the
People
the
have
end
to be
or not?
tapped out of their credit card money.
Yeah. Like you see those numbers go way up. You're like, okay, it's almost over.
Yeah.
3 more
That's the only
months.
way.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, interest now on your credit card payments are so high.
Yeah.
So if you're late, fuck, you're toast.
I just think, there's unfortunately some people who don't understand that or don't have the option, and you're just gonna run out of cash, then use credit. Interest rates are higher. You don't even really understand that totally until everything's maxed out. You can't pay your bill. Your interest rate is high. You have no cash. And then what? You get laid off?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
There's a certain group that just gets the short end of the stick on each one of these things,
Yeah. We'll see.
Okay. Netflix, another big one. Netflix stock having some trouble. Netflix has had a lot of trouble this year. I think, losing the amount of money that they lose and trying to figure all that out and figure out the business model has been a challenge. And one of their biggest moves was to do a ad tier, where there was ads on the platform, and they were hoping that would drive some revenue and retain some good viewers and just be a good business model. It's off to a slow start. It's a tough sell. The problem is when you're so, like the normal would be having ads and then paying to not have them.
Yeah.
Any situation where you haven't had them for years and you try to add them in any way, even if you pay less to see the ads, it's a tough sell.
Yeah. I mean, basically it's $6.99 a month and you see ads, or it's $9.99. $9.99. It starts at $9.99.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like, think about the moment. Think about how tough it is to go this long without seeing ads, and then what the experience is like seeing ads. And then think about when you're like, okay, I need that $3 so much that I'm going to go ahead and switch over. It's just like, what is that? I mean, that's just, what's that group of people? It doesn't seem like a large...
Yeah, I think
tough sell.
The normal digital plan is $14.99. There's at $9.99 you could still do the standard DVD and Blu-ray plan, which I guarantee
Uh-oh.
there's people still doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Brian Toll.
For sure.
Yeah. But okay,
and-
so that makes a difference. 14 to $6.99, $14.99 to $6.99.
Yeah, $8.
It's meaningful. It's just, man, like the experience of seeing ads,
Yeah.
you know, it's tough to take that back on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really tough.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. It's really interesting how it went. So many things obviously went so long with just like unlimited money, and growth was the only thing that mattered. And, you know, we would always joke like profitability means you're not trying hard enough. And streaming is just one of the things that's getting hit the hardest on like, hey, that old thing is not going to cut it. And I'm just so curious what streaming ends up being in 5 years, because right now it looks like it's just heading closer and closer to cable television.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much difference. I think the only difference is the consumer got spoiled. Like we get to, like, for example, I watch Yellowstone on demand on my Spectrum, and I got to watch ads.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there ever a time in history, in your opinion, when the consumer benefited in the form of comfort in so many different areas by like such a long stock market run? You know what I'm saying? Like we got Uber, we got
Postmates,
we got Netflix, we got Apple, we got all of these things that were like no ads, no wait, no nothing, just fucking click the button, it's at your house. And it was all
subsidized.
not a working business model. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, you know, like in 2006, like in any other time at the top of it, like was there really?
No, I mean, I can't
maybe
think
the
of
malls were more popping. Like, what did you really get?
Yeah, I just don't know where the consumer benefited from a subsidy from like the private industry.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
We had it good.
Yeah.
You didn't have to leave your fucking house. Everything was served to you. If you did want to leave your house, you were transported like a fucking CEO in a black car.
Yeah.
It was great. Man.
It's insane. And but like with an impending recession, at what point do people give up these conveniences? Or like it doesn't matter. Like if I want, you know, McDonald's at 2 a.m, I'm going to pay $40 to get it to my house.
I don't think so. I think after that credit card runs out, and God forbid you lose your job, I don't think you have an option. I think it gets shut off. It gets, you know, like people just, their service gets stopped. You know, you can't overdraft on your Postmates too many times. You can a few times, but you can't not pay your Uber.
That's rough when you overdraft on Postmates. It's like you bought a $30 meal and the overdraft fee is $35.
It's tough.
That's what I'm saying. $70 McDonald's.
Yeah, for real. I think that your Uber just, you know, your Netflix account just stops. I think that's what happens. I don't think it's people consciously saying, I'm going to have to look at my finances, we have to cut back, or we have to take on the ad supported Netflix. I think people start overdrafting. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right. We'll see. Well, hopefully, soft landing, J-Pal. Let's do the happy story before the sad story. The new stadium in Vegas, the Allegiant Stadium. So maybe it's just because I live in LA and Vegas is so close. It seems like there's like this new, like these mega stadiums are becoming a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
SoFi Stadium in LA is incredible.
Insane.
Allegiant Stadium, same thing. Just these modern, sick, amazing stadiums. It turns out Allegiant Stadium is the world's top stadium concert venue. So when it comes to, obviously the Raiders play there, there's games there all the time. But when it comes to concerts, Allegiant Stadium brought in $178 million this year in concert sales. SoFi in LA did $121 million.
Yeah.
But just, holy shit. Like obviously they have all their business, their normal business with the games, but concerts are just raking in.
Yeah, cash. It's interesting like how, and number 3 was Foro Sol in Mexico. MetLife Stadium, and then a stadium in Sweden, a stadium in France. So what's interesting is like concerts really came back so big this year. You started seeing them, happen last year, but like, man, I just feel like every single night there's some mega concert in LA in one of a handful of venues. Either it's SoFi, it's at Crypto, it's at Forum, it's outside at Exposition Park, it's at Bank of California. Like, especially a city like LA has so many mega venues.
I told you, I live by 3 venues. Like from my window, I can see them. And not as much during the weeknights, of course, but every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there is lines just down the sidewalk, almost running into each other because there's so many people waiting to go to shows at these different venues. And a lot of times I'll see a crazy line. We've always done this since we started, or since I joined in when I started Young and Reckless. You guys were always good at this, is like looking at lines, looking at who has the most crowd, looking at what type of people show up to what show. And I'll see like this massive line of young people and I have no idea who the person is on the marquee. Never seen the name in my life.
Yeah, like every week.
Yes.
I mean, it's literally like that. And it's obviously it's a function of just the post-pandemic, like everyone craving experiences. I don't know. I mean, that's like what every marketer does. I just like,
experiential.
Oh my God. The last thing I want to do is experience anything. Leave me the fuck alone. What is that experience
you're
called?
an experiential guy. You want to experience Art Basel. You just have expensive taste. You want to experience Super Bowl.
So I definitely want to experience Super Bowl. But
you have 4 things a year you really are dying to experience. The rest leave you the fuck alone, except for a couple dinners that you didn't bring your wallet to.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of dinners. The thing is experiences. I'll give you an example. Like I see young people standing in line for Dobrik's Pizza.
Yeah, all day, huh? Or every night.
All day.
Yeah.
And they're clearly going because of I want a piece of the David Dobrik experience, right?
Yeah, and the photo of the sign.
Yeah, they're not going because, man, I would love a slice. There's like 50 other places you can get a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
So I understand and appreciate that. I think concerts, for me, I guess the reason why I don't like concerts is how painful even sporting events are. Like I don't go to sporting events.
Like arriving and leaving though, is that the problem you mean?
Yeah.
Or like finding your seat. Yeah, I agree.
Like the idea of like, someone invited me to a Rams game recently and I was like, man, that's like an 8-hour day. Like, yeah. I don't know if I want to commit to that.
Yeah.
And that's why like I don't mind doing it. To me, it's like a special thing. I'll go, once or twice a year and I'll make a whole thing of it and it's fun. But like there's people going to like, if you have season tickets to the Lakers, you go 41 times a year.
Yeah. But we see what people wait in line for. I mean, season tickets to the Lakers, once again, is like a high-end hobby. But like, we see the type of stuff people wait in line for. People are willing to suffer.
Yes.
For, an hour of a good experience. I think we're probably just spoiled. But
and by the way, I don't think it's a good experience. So like I was seeing someone post like, okay, look, if you go to an NFL game, I think they give every fan an incredible experience. Probably same with the basketball. You could make the argument for baseball, hockey, sure. I think because they're just run at such a high level that those sports organizations, they give every fan a good experience.
Yeah.
I think when you go to like a concert at the Palladium for like some rising star, I don't know if you're getting a good experience.
I just think by our standards, I think we're very spoiled. I think there are young kids that go to the Palladium to see this up and coming artist that they loved during COVID on YouTube. And it's the night of their life. It's the night. I mean, Kareen went to one the other night because a guy that we know was performing at the Palladium and she was just filming people in the crowd. And I mean, there were people just sitting there crying, just tears streaming down their face, head tilted, just in like
because they're suffering. They're suffering.
Their
like, I
legs
can't
hurt.
believe I'm 2 more hours at the Palladium.
Okay, you might be right, but that's what
My
I'm saying.
mom
Like
can't
people,
find me.
oh
I'm
my
lost.
god! But yeah, people. That's the night of their life. I just think we're.
You know why I say that is because going to the Palladium for an experience is not cheap, right?
Yeah.
It's not a $20 ticket.
What's it? A couple $100? How much is the Palladium for a?
It depends who's performing.
Yeah.
But like, if you think about like minimum, it's $50. Okay.
Yeah.
$20 for parking. You're going to go get food. It's like the experience is not cheap. And so that's when I'm like, man, it's just like.
And I gotta say, I mean, because I've seen it, like they are waiting right now. They're waiting in the LA cold, but it's like 46 degrees at night.
Yeah.
And like the side streets are a lot of homeless people in tents, and and they're just kind of like weaved in between them. Like it's a dedicated experience to see your favorite YouTube artist. Yeah, it's nuts. But I mean, look, I think once again, I think we're very spoiled. We've been to the best events. We've been to the best events in the world, essentially. Done the best, most taken care of way, and we're still like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to wait. How long is the line for VIP at Coachella?
Yeah. Wait too long. That's where we have to get artist passes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's ridiculous. But I think, look, these numbers are a testament to it. These stadiums are printing money.
Yeah. And I think Vegas is working because if you're going to Vegas for a concert, especially if you're from out of town, you just do everything in Vegas bigger. Like Wynn Nightlife has on the field level, you can do bottle service, right? Mm-hmm. Like similar to SoFi at Bootsie's, you can get a table for $10,000 and watch the Rams or watch The Weeknd or watch whomever. Like,
but it won't help you in the parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a helicopter.
I know.
You want to get out of that place.
I know. Here's my question for you. There's a little bit of a deep question. So, you know how there's like the Instagram versus reality or the expectation versus reality, and almost every event has that element to it. Coachella, there's always the waiting in line, the whatever. What thing can be social, an event, whatever, is as good as it looks? Can you think of anything?
Coachella.
So the lines are worth it. The waiting in the park. So Coachella with a VIP parking pass, an artist pass.
No, I think Coachella regs is fucking great. Like, I think
no VIP. You don't even remember what that feels like. Those lines.
I've never been to Coachella in my 13 years not VIP.
Okay, so VIP. Just you don't need artists.
Okay, just say VIP, which is accessible luxury.
Yeah.
It's the Coach bag of concerts.
Parking's a big deal, though. I feel like you need a VIP parking.
But look, when I was 25 years old, even 30 years old, nothing like that affected me. Parking distance, the inconveniences did not bother me.
Yeah.
Only till later in life did I actually start caring about those little things. But like, I would argue that the experience of Coachella lives up to its hype.
Okay, so Coachella VIP is the thing. Okay. All right, that's great. Okay, now we have to go straight into some sad news. Unfortunately, the Twitch, who is the DJ on Ellen's show, among many other things, dancer.
Executive producer, too. He was.
Oh, yeah, also executive producer. Jesus. Yeah. And has a huge TikTok following, passed away. What was it, Monday or Tuesday? Mm-hmm. Committed suicide. Very sad story. This guy I didn't know much about him. I obviously don't watch the Ellen show, but of course I looked it up a little bit after he passed, and it just seems like he seemed so happy. I think that's the biggest thing that's like striking everyone. He was always dancing and smiling, and his kind of job on the Ellen show was very much like an uplifting spirit and playing music and all that stuff. And I don't know, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you're seeing a lot of the content that he's put out over the years with him, his wife, and his kids, and even stuff he posted like 3-4 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that someone that job is basically to be this like jovial kind of light up the room person could potentially be dealing with something like this.
Yeah.
And you know, my wife and I were talking about it, and we were like, what would drive you to that point? Like, is it financial? Is it personal relationship? Is it some demons from the past? Is it like, what are all the things that could be running through someone's mind that potentially can go down that path? Because in a lot of other people, unfortunately, like the signs are a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you hear about someone like a friend or, you know, someone, you know, far removed, but like you hear about their life and you hear about who they are as there was a people, or you saw pictures of them, videos, and you kind of be like, man, that, you know, we should have seen that person was not a happy person.
Yeah.
This is really shocking. And I think it's really fucked up a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I think they don't like, you can't imagine. I mean, from an outsider looking in, it looked like the perfect life.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause he also had a wife, kids.
Wife, kids. He's very successful. I think that a Disney show. I mean, like, you living in LA and Hollywood and just living the life, right?
Yeah.
Like, what would possess you to make you feel like this?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I'm not an expert on mental health by any stretch, and so I can't even imagine what was going through his mind, and now what his family is dealing with is fucking crazy.
It's so crazy. Yeah. I don't know. It's such a hard thing to even comment on because like you said, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea what was going on in his head or what was going on. You know, there's people who have done stuff like this and you found out years later, like they got a really bad, like, health, diagnosis or something.
Yeah.
And so you just never know. But it is interesting how he looked like the complete opposite of a depressed person. And you just don't know what people are dealing with. I think the last 3 years have been exceptionally difficult. And we've talked about it a lot on the pod and very openly, and how tough it's been on business at times, or relationships, or traveling, or, whatever. But, I think it's been very, very hard on some people, and you can never guess a lot of times.
Yeah, I think it's really, really tough. And I think especially around the holidays, you always see, I think it's usually a very tough time, because I think if you do not have like a friend circle or a support system, sometimes you feel extra lonely. Yeah. And I think
everything else slows down, like work slows down. No one's really,
slows down,
yeah. Like, you kind of have this moment where if you don't have friends or family, it feels exaggerated, because you can't distract yourself with just the craziness of work.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I think people just need to find those outlets and relationships and friendships to, like, you got to lean on people and not be afraid to do so, right? Like, it's not fun being alone when you're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay. It is the end of the week, so it is time for winners, losers, and content recommendations before we get out of here. Who's your biggest winner of the last week, Dee?
My winner is Jerome Powell.
Why? Because he's just the fucking rainmaker?
I'm going to give a prediction.
Okay.
10, 15 years from now, we're going to look at Jerome Powell and say he actually handled this the right way.
Really?
I think.
What's the story? Fast forward to then. What's the story?
He cut interest rates and he got the economy back up. Like, he had to do what he had to do during the pandemic, which is just cut, keep interest rates low. He probably kept them too long, but there was so much uncertainty around COVID and all these other things. I think his hands were tied. Like, if he had done it prematurely, people would have been really upset by it. Okay. He did it the right way. I think inflation is such a mega problem. And there's going to be, I know everyone wants to believe it's going to be like this soft landing. Just get comfortable with that it's not. And it's going to be a little harder than you expect. Doesn't mean that the world is ending. It's just going to be harder.
Yeah.
And we can get back to normal times as all of this kind of chaos calms down, but he has to bring it down. Like he has to focus on bringing inflation down. And unfortunately, this is the only lever he has, because the other options are, we hope Russia and Ukraine, but like, that's not going to solve the rent problem in America.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need some defaults on real estate to bring prices down. Like there's just reality of things that I think will be looked at 10, 15 years from now and be like, man, those couple years were super painful, but that guy's a hero.
Wow.
He's my winner.
Take.
Yeah.
That's a bold take. So you're essentially giving him your winner of the week like 5 years in advance.
10 years.
10 years. Okay.
I think he's the most hated person for the next 2 years.
Yeah. That's fair. Oh my God. Okay. My winner, I had trouble gathering a winner. I'm going to be honest. My winner is soccer fans. Just because I'm jealous of them. Like so many people this week have been like, hey man, you like soccer? Like you want to watch the fucking blah, blah, blah game tomorrow at 7 a.m. or like you want to come over at 11 or blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, I tried to watch it on the flight to Mexico and it was on the flight and I just can't fucking get it. And I don't know if I'll ever get it. I wish, but I'm very jealous of all of you soccer fans. I'm happy for you. I see people that don't care at all about any other sport waking up at 7 in the fucking morning to watch soccer. So you know what? Good for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've caught the end of some of the matches and I kind of, it's exciting at the end, but yeah, I don't share the passion. Like,
no,
especially when it's not America.
Up at 7 a.m.
I mean, unfortunately for me, that's a great night of sleep.
Yeah, you're right. So let me give you a better example. This is people that I'm talking about that normally probably like on these days wake up at like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And they're waking up at 7 a.m. to watch soccer. Nothing else. Just wake up in your blanket, just fucking watching people kick the ball up and down the field for 2 hours before anyone scores. Anyway, I'm happy for you. Listen, I'm happy for you.
That's funny.
They're all winners. Okay, Who's your loser?
My loser is Donald Trump. He's usually good on timing.
Careful.
He's usually good on timing,
yeah.
But he's launched his NFT this week.
Oh, fuck off. No, he didn't.
$99. He says he's better. The commercial is amazing. It's collecttrumpcards.com. He says he's better than Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. It's unbelievable. I am dying to know how this does. Because if he had done it 9 months ago, I think it would have crushed.
Yep.
But like absolute worst time to launch, this is the middle of the largest crypto fraud history.
Literally. like you couldn't have a worse taste in your mouth currently for anything kind of crypto or blockchain as you do right now.
And there's like it's basically these NFT cards. There's one that makes him look like Superman, one he looks like James Bond, the one he has a gun, one he looks like an astronaut. I mean, it's insane. I'm dying to know who bought these.
I will say, like, in a weird world where Trump wins the election, this could be a good investment. Economy might be back. Trump just won. Trump cards are $100,000 a piece. But
maybe
this is not investment advice. The guy, he, when it came to the presidency, he was the master of timing. Perfect timing.
Yep.
But this couldn't be worse.
Agreed.
Okay. My loser is Kevin O'Leary. He took money from FTX. I think he invested in FTX as well, but he took like $15 million for like a sponsorship. And this guy just appears to be kind of like going down with the ship here. Like instead of, Yeah, I don't know if it's because ultimately this might mean, getting his 15 million bucks taken back. I don't know whether maybe he just feels stupid. Maybe it's just kind of like, he took the money in the beginning. He said really nice things about them. Maybe it's just really hard to change your mind and say, hey, I was wrong. I don't know. But this guy is just really hanging on to the not fraud story and kind of run on the bank story and, unknowing entrepreneur, things get out from under him story. And I think there's a couple of people doing that, but man, if you're doing that, you're just a loser.
Yeah.
And Kevin O'Leary, it's like, come on, you had a good gig. You're a Shark Tank guy. You could probably walk through any middle America city, town, be treated like a fucking king. Everyone thinks you're like a multi-billionaire. Like, just chill. You don't let this be where all your media coverage is.
Yeah. Agreed.
Go buy some Trump NFTs, Kevin. Content? You got any content for the weekend everyone should check out?
I recommended it last week. I'll recommend it again. The Murdoch documentary on HBO.
I gotta watch that. Yeah,
it's incredible.
I gotta watch that.
It's really good. It's really well done. Irony is it's produced by CNN.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a hate piece? Is it a hit piece kind of?
I mean, it doesn't kind of pose them in like a positive light, but I don't think it's negative. Like, I think it's basically telling the assuming it's the information is accurate. It's just telling you like the dilemma of the family, and it's basically Succession.
Huh.
Like the documentary is Succession.
Why would they do that?
Because it's really good.
They're just like, fuck it, we can't help it. We're
so
gonna get our enemy in the news, but fuck it.
Yeah, it's really good.
I gotta watch it. That's right up my alley. I love The Loudest Voice. Obviously, I love Succession.
Oh yeah, then you'll like, and even Rupert Murdoch's rise to power and success. Fascinating. Fascinating.
I can't wait. Mine's kind of a do-over too, but White Lotus, the season finale happened.
I was just shitting all over that show the other day.
Well, you're an asshole.
Is it good? Okay. What happened?
It's good. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to spoiler alert the whole fucking finale. Watch it. You watch trash TV. Make room for some good shit.
I watched the first episode. I saw there was a body in the ocean. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, but you got to understand the way this show happens is it starts with a thing, like a body in the ocean. And then the whole season is like the 2 weeks leading up to that and what happened. So the whole time you're kind of like, okay, it must have been that person probably got killed. No, that person got killed. Like, it's interesting how they do it. I'm sure other people have done it. I've never seen a show done like that before.
Where they show you the ending first.
Show you the ending first, and you spend the whole show trying to guess who that ending was about. But it's good. Look, I don't think it's the best show of all time. I'm not saying that. So do not put that on me. It's a good watch. The season finale was big. It was good. It was a good season finale. And also it's like all over, it made it into pop culture memeville. There's a couple memes that are very popular around that final episode. And it's a great watch. So if you're bored and you don't want to watch, Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart and The Rock that Dee's going to recommend, check out White Lotus. Rush Hour 17. Or not Rush Hour, Fast and Furious.
Never get sick of those. I haven't watched anything. I'm so behind on content.
I know. You know what I can't wait for is there's clips of them filming the next season of Succession in New York.
Oh, wow.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. That's a great show.
Okay, that's all we got, right? Any shout outs?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right. Everyone have an incredible weekend. Thank you for listening. We're coming up on Christmas. Do we know our holiday schedule yet?
No, we should figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
This week.
Okay. All right, good deal. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Sunday.